All right, pause for a second because you just did something real. You finished stage one, 7 lessons from what IT actually is through hardware and software, the CPU and RAM kitchen, operating systems, file paths, the boot sequence, all the way to the internet and the cloud. This slide isn't teaching you anything new. It's stitching all of that into one working mental model you can actually use on day one at a help desk. So here's that mental model laid out as a grid, one tile per lesson, one signature image each, the career ladder, the 3 layers, the kitchen, the OS landscape, the file tree, and the boot sequence. Don't read it like a checklist. Let your eyes drift across and notice that you actually recognize every single one of these now. That recognition, that's your new IT brain. Now let's zoom into the last piece. Lesson 6's Internet, Web, and Cloud Trio. Remember, the Internet is the physical network. The web is just one service riding on it. And the cloud is really a business model, renting someone else's servers. And on the right, look at how the lessons wire together. Software runs in RAM, firmware kicks off boot, boot loads the OS reads paths from storage. That's not a list anymore. That's a network living in your head. And here it is, the whole stack on one screen, hardware at the bottom, firmware sitting on top of it, boot bridging up into the OS, files organized above that, you the user driving it all, and the internet reaching out beyond your machine. Memorize this picture because when something breaks, you won't panic. You'll just ask which layer and go straight to the fix. Now let's see that picture in action. It's 9 a.m. Monday, and Anna pings the help desk. Outlook's slow, printer's dead. Watch what happens. You ask the right question, pop open Task Manager and spot RAM at 95%. That's your kitchen counter, completely buried. Close some Chrome tabs, hit the printer through a UNC path, and 17 minutes later, the ticket's closed. Every single move came from a stage 1 lesson. That's a working IT brain. So let's pressure test that brain. 8 questions, 1 per concept. Cover the answers, work through them in your head, then peek. The rule's simple. 6 out of 8 means the foundation holds and you're cleared for stage 2. Anything less, don't push forward. Loop back to the weak lesson first. Networking builds directly on this, so cracks here become canyons later. And here's where you're headed next. Stage 2 is networking. 10 lessons that teach you how computers actually talk to each other. You'll start with what a network even is, move through IPv4, IPv6, MAC addresses, DHCP, DNS, HTTP, routers, Wi-Fi standards. And by lesson 17, you'll type google.com into a browser and trace that packet all the way to Google's servers and back, naming every single step. That's the goal. That's where this is going. But before we get there, let's do a quick gut check. Here's your stage 1 brain on a single page, 7 one-liners, 1 per lesson. It is 6 jobs on a ladder, 3 layers, hardware, firmware, software, the kitchen, CPU cooks, RAM counters, storage pantry, OS market share, paths as a tree, boot in 5 steps, internet, web, and cloud as different layers. Glance down that list, then if any line feels foggy, go replay that lesson. If all 7 click instantly, you're ready. Now for some real talk. 5 honest things I'd tell a friend in your shoes. 1. You have the language now. Words like firmware and DNS roll off your tongue, and that alone puts you ahead. 2. You're not job ready yet. That's around stage 5 or 6, so keep going. 3. Honest specifics will fade, but the mental models stick. 4. Stage 2 will feel harder before it clicks. Trust the process. And 5. Start a home lab now. An old laptop, a Raspberry Pi. Real engineers learn by doing. And that's stage 1 in the books. 7 lessons shipped, a real mental model in your head, hands-on diagnostics, and the foundation for APLN Core 1. That's earned, not given. Next up, Lesson 08. What actually is a network? LAN, WAN, the internet. How machines find each other across rooms, cities, and oceans. Stage 2 starts strong with 10 networking lessons. I'll see you there.